It's safe to say Caitlin Clark is relaxed before the WNBA playoffs start, which is impressive because I'm nervous. I'm nervous that the Fever season could be ending, or about what's going to happen in this series with the Connecticut Sun, which I could really see going either way. Like, my heart says Fever, part of my head says the Sun, given their defensive capabilities, the way they can convert turnovers, those sort of things. But I also believe that the Fever have more scoring firepower than Connecticut. Nevertheless, the talk around Indiana and Caitlin Clark before the playoffs start isn't even about basketball. It's been about baseball. She was on a TikTok with Lexi Hull, and this just goes to show you how famous Caitlin Clark is. She can do anything, and it goes viral. Like anything, all of a sudden it's a big deal. This was the TikTok from Lexi Hull where she was calling a baseball game sort of playfully.
And that ball's hit to the shortstop. Rojas throws it over to first base, and that's not going to be enough. That's an infield single by Contreras.
She's putting on the voice. You can hear it. By Contreras.
Turner, my bad. We're in the bottom of the fourth. We got a score of 1-0 to the Phillies. Runner on first, no outs. This brings someone to the plate. One time, pick a right now. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. And a little outside.
There you go.
A little outside. I like it though. Nola's on the mound tonight. And his Skechers, red Skechers he's wearing. Swings a chopper right down the first base line. Harper fields it in, and that's an out. That's one out.
And
Runner.
Lexi Hull is loving it.
Runner advances to second. And a swing and a miss for the second strikeout of the inning. Nola gets out of it after the lead runner gets on. It might have been the second batter. I'm not sure. And that brings us to the top of the fifth. The Phillies leading 1-0. We'll be back in a minute for 30 seconds.
So she even throws to the
break.
mock commercial break and everything. So that blows up. It blows up to the point that, of course, every account starts aggregating it because Caitlin Clark content moves the needle. And, it just is what it is. You see, this was from I think it's called Together account. Like, it's one of the women's sports brand that was founded by Sue Bird, amongst others. And you see the comment from MLB, 22,000 likes on this comment, and we will get her in the booth. Clark says, I'd be honored. Apparently, from what I'm reading, the Phillies have already reached out. Maybe this is something that could happen in the offseason or whenever, spring training. Who knows the case? We already saw Clark out at a Yankees game. And before they play the Sun in the playoffs, the conversation around Caitlin Clark is that TikTok and, her mock calling a baseball game.
Your play-by-play call.
Yeah.
The baseball game went a little viral. Can you tell me that was in DC, right?
Yeah.
Right? And can you tell us what was going on and how that happened? And right?
Well, I told Lex that sometimes I'll just commentate some games, and she's like, "All right, we'll do it right now." And then I didn't really know she was recording until a little bit ways through. But I don't know, it's just kind of fun, and I've kind of been following the Phillies, so I kind of know some of their players and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I messed up a few times, but that's a hard gig. And also, I was out of breath and exhausted. So shout out to all the commentators out there. I did it for 2 minutes, and I needed a break. So and in baseball, there's a lot of dead time, so you have to find some random things to talk about. So I was talking about his shoes, talking about random stuff, but a little different than basketball. But I don't know if commentating's in my future, but who knows? Maybe one time for fun, somebody will let me do it.
That was very true, right? So I guess when she said maybe somebody will let her do it, maybe the Phillies didn't reach out. I read that somewhere. I don't know the exact parameters other than what I saw on social media and the post about the likes from MLB. But it is very true when you're calling baseball, there is much more opportunity to talk, much more space to fill. I've called various sports, and I actually did play-by-play. I did play-by-play impromptu for a Knicks game once, but that's because I know basketball better. I stepped up in the moment. In baseball, you can be out there a little bit more often because it's just a more boring sport. There's more lapses in the play for you to fill in the blanks yourself. And I know I think she talked about her rooting allegiances as well as part of that. And the Chiefs being her favorite football team and how she's not a bandwagoner and stuff like that. So just various lighthearted conversation before the real intensity picks up. And good news for the Fever when speaking of that intensity. This is the image I meant to share a second ago. Kelsey Mitchell out on the floor, doesn't appear hindered. No braces. Nothing like that. Getting a shot up as the WNBA playoffs are approaching. And it's exciting. I mean, we got to, right? Like, it's exciting. I'm almost nervous. I want the Fever season to continue. I want to continue to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. I want to continue to support that team. It's just a fun team, Kelsey Mitchell included, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Holst, and she stepped up, so on and so forth. And I'm intrigued by the matchup with the Sun because it is poetic in a sense. It was Caitlin Clark's first game. Dejanay Carrington. I love that on-court rivalry. I don't know what to make of the dynamics of Carrington's relationship with Nalissa Smith. I've never encountered anything like that in sports really before, but that's a subplot for the series, as was the Connecticut Sun's practice before the game. They were in like I guess it was like they had to share a gym or something like that. I don't think this is an NBA problem as much as a Connecticut Sun problem, but maybe this is a team that's considering relocating to Boston. You see it pulled down and divided there. That was the situation for the Sun heading into the postseason. And it's nerve-wracking because it's only a 3-game series, right? It's only a 3-game series where if the Fever can win game 1, they're in great position because it means they got 2 cracks to win the series, including one of them going back to Indiana. The first 2 games will be in Connecticut. If they lose game 1, obviously they're only 1 game away from their season ending. And then we all go into this Caitlin Clark content void, I'm sure. Hopefully she plays basketball somewhere in the offseason, as I've said. And then, of course, anything she does is apparently going to resonate with people because she can do a mock TikTok calling a baseball game. And I wouldn't be surprised if she winds up in a broadcast booth somewhere based simply off that. But first, let's see some basketball. First, let's see what the Fever are capable of and one of the reasons you can't count them out against the Sun or in any series is that they have Caitlin Clark and she's going to have the ball in her hands and she's going to make things happen. Of that, I kind of have no doubt.